So to put things in context, is that yeah, it was an element of a test, but it was really more of a prank, and it was a continuing prank that she actually started.
He says he's hood bougie, so I put him in the hood.
Y'all, context is everything because that just changes the entire conversation.
Now, instead of bringing her to the home where we're gonna live at, I'm gonna bring her to my childhood home. We are home.
Bilal and Shaeeda, before we get into this test, that was a huge conversation for the 90-day fans. I know before we get into that, I'm curious, you two are 90-day newbies. Whose idea was it for you to join the show?
It
Really?
was my idea, yeah.
That's
I said myself,
surprising.
he didn't want it anything to do with a reality show. He was like, I'm a private person. I don't want to put myself out there. I was like, you know what? I have always lived inside of the box. I want to do something different. And I kind of begged him basically to be on it with me.
Yeah. How do you feel about that decision now, Bilal?
Just like putting our whole life in front of everybody, I was like, nah, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
But she tends to get her way. So like most things, so I submitted and here we are.
Yeah. So have you been watching the episodes back?
We have,
Yeah.
I've been watching it.
How do you feel?
Like for me, it's strange watching yourself on television. I laughed so hard with my facial expressions. I had no idea I made so much faces. I was like, oh my God, is that me?
Yeah.
I am definitely a Trini woman. We always express ourselves by our face.
Well, Shai, you slid into Bilal's DMs. That's how you two first met.
Mm-hmm.
What was it about him that made you say, okay, I'm going to shoot my shot?
Okay. I was looking for someone like who is mature, first of all, someone who's responsible, someone who's ambitious, and someone who's a good father, like a father, he has kids. And I observed these qualities with him just by judging his online pictures. And also, I was attracted to him. I was like, okay, he takes good care of his body. He looks well put together type of gentleman. Yeah. So, I shoot my shot. I slid into his DMs because we used to converse back and forth. Like, he would make a little comments on my pictures and say, great job. And I'm doing some promotions with my yoga business. So he was attracted to how I was, into my business. You see an ambitious woman. And I was also attracted to him because, he was like a gentleman-like type of guy.
I spent 7 days in Trinidad, so we only spent actually 7 days together physically before we decided that, okay, this is official.
Well, Bilal, you decided to propose after 7 days of being with Shai in person. She's beautiful, of course, but beyond that, what was it that made you say, okay, this is gonna be my wife?
I had a chance to meet her and her mother and her stepfather, really the whole family, everybody's there. So everybody's grilling me and we're having a great time. And I don't know, I just felt that she had the essence of things that I was looking for when it comes to great motherly qualities for my children and any future children to come. She wears her faith on her sleeve. She's very God conscious. So a lot of different traits that I was looking for, she possessed. So
I wanted to see if Shaeeda truly wants me for me and not for what I have. And she told me she's a ride or die. So let's put that to the test.
Bilal, some people felt as if it wasn't right for you to test Shai by picking her up in a van that wasn't yours, taking her to your childhood home, acting as if you lived there. Some even felt as if you were gaslighting her. So looking back now, do you regret the prank?
I definitely would say I would probably do some things differently for sure. I don't know how long we have, but just to put things in context.
We're good, talk.
Okay. She said talk. So to put things in context is that, yeah, it was an element of a test, but it was really more of a prank. And it was a continuing prank that she actually started. So
wait, tell us about
when I went to Trinidad,
okay.
I let her know, I said, hey, here's some Airbnbs that I could stay at. You choose which one should I stay at because I'm not familiar with the area. She said, okay, yeah, sure. So she picked the one for me to stay at, and lo and behold, the Airbnb was in the middle of the worst crime area ever. right? So I'm staying at this Airbnb, and I don't know. I know it's kind of suspect, but I'm walking around, and she's calling me at night, like, where are you at? I'm like, oh, she's like, no, you need to go back to your, like, so I don't even know like the area is that bad.
Yeah.
Even though I can see that it looks bad. And then her mother, she picked us up, and she's like, Shaeeda, why do you have him staying in such and such area? What was the area called?
It was Carenage.
Carenage. So.
Well,
and it was a bad area. So like literally it was like I was in an institution. There was like barbed wire fencing around the premise. It was a bad area. So she thought it was very funny.
Shaeeda, you have this man looking the way he does in that area. That's dangerous.
He says he's hood bougie. So I put him in the hood.
I am what you would call hood bougie.
With a little bit of bouginess because it was fancy wrong with plenty barbed wire.
It was barbed wire fence.
Right, so because that's the first thing you let me know. I'm hood bougie. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna put him in somewhere affordable, hood. It still was bougie because it was like barbed wire all around. So he was protected in his hood bougie Airbnb.
So
that's hilarious.
Yeah, so we both like to joke, humor. So in the back, I'm like, okay, good one. I was there for 7 days. Not 1, but 7. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna pay you back. I'm gonna get you back. So she forgot. I was like, you're not gonna know where it's gonna come from. Then with the house, I was like, I just really wanted to surprise her because she would send me a lot of, pictures of like, oh, this is my home that I would like to live in when we, do well in life, etc. And I'm thinking to myself, like, that house looks kind of like the house I live in already. So, so I'm like, maybe I just want to surprise her when she comes. Yeah. And then the idea came like, oh, I remember she pranked me. I'm gonna get her back. And one day we were actually watching, because we were watching movies together from a long distance, like Netflix, like press play at the same time. And we were watching one of our favorite movies, Coming to America. And I was like, I know what I'm gonna do. So wow. That was it.
Y'all, context is everything because that just changes the entire conversation.
Yeah.
In my opinion. Well, Bilal, have you ever had instances where women did just want you for money? Have you ever ran into that?
No, I really haven't. I mean, I've, you hear things about people like, oh, they're, just in it for the money or this and that. Like, I've never been, this funny thing is I've never really been flashy. You may see me on social media with a suit on. That's because that's just what I do for a living.
And your Louboutins.
Yeah, but like, if you don't, like, you never see me taking a picture next to my cars or taking a picture, what my personal homes or anything like that. Like, only homes that you see are things that I'm like selling for clients. So I never been like flashy that way or anything like that. And if you know it, or if you're into brands, so you may know something subtle, like, oh, he wears this belt or it's a custom suit, etc.
Yeah.
But I never really had the experience of somebody just wanting you for like something that you have.
Yeah.
I'm putting Shy to the test a little bit.
Wow, home sweet home, right?
When Shaeeda comes in today, I'm gonna bring her to my childhood home, the home that I actually grew up in, just to see that if I did live here, will you still be with me?
You said this was a prank, but in the show, you did say you wanted to test Shaeeda to see if she really wanted you for who you are or what you have. So that being said, what do you say to people who feel as if you do these type of tests before you decide to make someone your wife?
Yeah, like, I can admit that there was really 3 elements. By far, the most of it was a prank, but there was some elements of a test. And I think with any joke, there is like some truth in it. So once to see like, because she would say things, make comments like, hey, like, I'm in it to win it. And I would ask her things like, let's say for some reason, let's say if I had money and for some reason I lost it all, like, would you ride with me? Would you help me build it back up? She's like, for sure, no doubt. So everybody says that. But then when you put into that moment, so it's like, well, so yeah, there were some elements of a test. And frankly, also there was a lot of settlement elements to it as well, too. The truck, it wasn't just any truck. It was actually my father's truck. And it was one of his trucks, and he recently passed. And he didn't get a chance to meet Shaeeda physically. They spoke on the phone and video, etc. And the home was a house that not just my childhood, but I grew up there like 20 plus my years of my life. And my father actually helped build that house. So it was really sentimental to say, hey, like, it was a way of like really introducing her to my father before I introduced her to the rest of my family, because I really feel him there. And but also to show her too, like, these are my roots, and to really know me, no, this is where I came from.
Yeah. Knowing that about the van, Shaeeda, do you regret the whole Sanford and Son comment?
I totally regret the Sanford and Son comment.
This place looking like Sanford and Son.
When he's playing a test on me, I am totally unaware. So I'm thinking it's just his truck, his personal belongings. So I'm not thinking it has any sentimental value.
Right.
So my exclamation was just natural. You know, Sanford and Son, you pick him up in his old truck, boy, you could do better than that type of thing.
Yeah.
She was killing me with the comments, and then with the house, it was. So for me, it started as a prank, and then it started to become like, oh man, like, you taking shots at my.
No, she look, Shaeeda, you give shade. You are good with the shade. Just coming back to back. I'm like, she is quick with her tongue.
Yes, so quick. She be killing me.
I was so upset. I was so angry.
Man, that's feeling.
Yeah, I gotta get that done.
It looked like it could collapse on us any moment now.
I was trying to hold back a lot of anger at him, you know, because he met me. I'm a woman with standards.
Yeah.
Just because you have standards doesn't mean you have to be rich or luxurious. You could be clean, you know, coming out of the truck, seeing the first thing my eye went up there to see that
ceiling
window. With a big hole in it. That's the first thing I saw when I came.
Yeah. Oh, in the house. Yeah.
Oh, the house.
I saw the window with a hole, and after I saw the little edges peeling apart, the paint, you know, the veranda, the porches falling down. I was like,
it's not fun.
Just because it's a humble home doesn't mean it has to be
look a mess. That's true.
So that was my heartbreak.
Believe it or not, actually, like, I spent like the whole weekend like cleaning up that house. Like, it was really because it's just an area where my father would store a lot of his stuff there. So no one lived in it for 15 plus years. So cleaned it up a lot, you know. So what you see actually on TV was like hours and hours of like brother, sister helping.
Well, you flip houses though too, right? Have you ever thought about flipping that house?
For sure, definitely did. My father, like I said, he recently passed. However, my father too, he's the type of person, like, he wants to do it himself, you know. So he had rental properties as well too, and so anytime something was to fix, he would do it himself. And so he didn't want anybody touching his houses or anything like that. So it's not necessarily a house that I own. So out of respect, we didn't do anything to it.
That makes sense. I saw that in the comments. 90 Day fans, they're really creative with the way they think about all of these things. And someone was like, why didn't he just flip the house if he flips houses? I was like, that's a good question.
My dad would kill me if I touched this house.
Okay, well, let's get into how you reacted to the prank, Shaeeda. Do you regret anything you said? You mentioned something about, do you have enough money for that? When he asked you, did you want food?
You want something to eat?
Yeah, something that's from a clean bowl, yeah.
Yeah, well, I can order something. I know you don't want to eat in my
You have
room.
enough money for that?
That was harsh.
I felt, I regret that part, just telling him, do you have enough money for that? It was insultive towards him. I was so upset. Like, I was like, you want to buy me food, but you can't even take care of a home? Because first of all, I'm thinking, if you can't maintain your home, what makes you think that you could maintain me? I gave up my life. I closed on my yoga business. I made this huge move to America with a little bit of savings in my pocket. At the same time, I'm depending on him because I can't work. So I'm looking at him as my main source of income. So now it's like, you're offering me food to eat. It's like, take the money for food and fix the house, So I was like, you have enough money for that?
Yeah.
I regret to do. I should not have said that to you. I wish he would not have tested me because I was holding back so much things I wanted to say, and I felt like this could have destroyed us. Like, I was really trying to bite my tongue. So, take care if I'd lose my cool and he would have kept me there for a longer time. What would have happened to us? That little bit that I said, we still have arguments based on that. Like, he still, yes, we haven't gone past this test. It still comes up. He still talk about it and see how much I have hurt his feelings. And I try to express my point of view. So I was thinking, you test me on something that really could have, I felt like it was just too heavy.
This is where you be staying at.
Oh my God.
When you walk into Bilal's house and he says, this is your new home, this is where you're about to live, Describe to us the feeling that you felt.
I was like, no, this is home. This is what I expect. This is what I left my business and my family to, to come to. Like, this is what I call a house, It was comfortable, everything looking round, nice and polished, my type of style, This is what I wanted, and this is what I was expecting.
Yeah. How have you been dealing with Bilal's OCD? Because according to your ex-wife, you are very particular.
If she leaves the socks on the floor,
There's gonna be some issues.
she gonna be out?
She might have to sleep on the couch.
Bilal's very picky, and I wish them luck.
He drives me insane,
Yeah.
He is very so particular, so neat. As his luggage, he packs his clothes like a psycho. When I pack into, I put my things, I doesn't know how he gets like 25 pieces of clothes in one luggage because he packs it so neat and small.
I mean, my dad was in the military. So, so us having a standard of like cleaning and I wouldn't even say, I would not say I'm OCD because I've been told differently that that actually isn't the best term to use. Just from a standpoint of people who actually have that. So, I apologize for actually using the term. I would say I'm a neat freak. Like I definitely like things to be clean and neat and and be in a certain way,
Melissa,
at times.
Melissa, I'm cooking. He's wiping when I'm cooking. He's like, can I cook in the kitchen?
She's the messiest cooker
I'm
I've
an
ever
ordinary
seen
person who
before
cooks.
in my life.
I'm normal. We call it normal. We cook. We might leave a little bit of onion
Even
here.
her mother says like, Shai, you can clean and cook as you go. So that way you don't have this huge like disarray of mess when you're done cooking.
Well, do you ever just step out, Bilal, and just let her finish?
Thank you. He wants to do a little shining and wiping, and I'm uncomfortable. Like, Bilal, can I cook in peace?
I got a little something else to show you.
Oh my God.
I will say the yoga studio, that was so touching. That was a great,
Thank you.
addition.
See, those things isn't something like, that's the reaction is what I was looking for in person. Like, you can't get that if I was just to show you her, if I would have showed her that on a picture or a video, etc. So that's why I was holding certain things. It wasn't to be malicious. It wasn't to be like disingenuous or to be dishonest. It was to show you like, hey, I want to surprise you.
My whole perspective on you two as a couple, I mean, other than aesthetically, you seem great together, but now my opinion has changed. So this conversation in general, I'm sure it's going to change a lot of people's thoughts. Cross fingers. I have a fan question, which I feel like is going to answer a lot. There are rumors circulating that you two are married. I know you can't say anything when it comes to that, but the Jamaican wants to know, Bilal, how are you feeling about Shaeeda at this point? Is she currently wife material, or are you still having second thoughts?
I would say she's a person who has a strong value, a person who is definitely somebody who, if I didn't, somebody would definitely wife her up quick. So
good answer.
Yeah.
90 Day Fiancé fans are very opinionated, which I'm sure you have experienced already. Yeah, how are you dealing with that mentally? Like, how has it been for you?
Well, for me, I've always put myself out there, back home, they know me as a yoga girl, I've made in newspapers several times. So I've always put myself out there. So it's nothing much for me to deal with. For him, however, he has never put himself out there. So I've seen him, I think some of the comments were so harsh and some of them were very distasteful. So I've seen he had a very difficult time.
Yeah, I've gotten phone calls, I've gotten like emails, I've gotten DM, like the stuff that people say is like, wow. And for me, like I've been a person who has really, I guess, pretty much all my life to try to stay a certain way and been, disrespectful towards people and good-hearted. I'm an imam, which is, a person who is a leader in our religious congregation. To, I do a lot of philanthropy and a lot of just financial education and giving back to people that travel all around the country doing that stuff. So to get some of the back is like, I've never experienced that before in my life. And it was just like, it was just eye-opening to see that, wow, like somebody can take like 10, 20 minutes of what they see and just rip and form an opinion about you like that. It's like, wow. And I mean, you could dig, you could see, you know, the works that I've done, you know, if you really truly want to look at for those things. But so that was kind of hurtful. But on a positive note, you also see the beauty, you know, and you see there's so much more positive people that are out there.
Yeah.
That, you know, are rooting for you, rooting for her, especially for her. And so,
yeah,
you know,
she had a lot of support. Well, I'm curious, you know, speaking of the whole God consciousness of it all, how do you feel like this is growing you? You know, is this expanding you in ways that you didn't really know? You know, having to figure out how to deal with all these opinions?
It has. It's so funny because we talk, you know, sometimes about like, you know, because, you know, she can see sometimes I'll get down or whatever. And I'm a very positive person. And I think you're going to see that as you see on the show. And I'm all about appreciation, being grateful, and this, and that. And, but, you know, sometimes, you know, things get to you and she'll be like, hey, like, you remember, pray for this, you know? And the reality is that we decided to move forward because we felt that God was answering the prayers for us to align us this way. Like we wouldn't have even done this if we felt anything different. So I just had to keep that perspective and like, you know, that this is just a test, you know, and you know, I always say for every level, there's another devil. So at the end of the day, you know, you just got to keep moving forward.
And you know who you are at
There
the
you
end of
go.
the day, right? More than any of us do.
Yeah.
Okay, last question. What do you want fans to know about your relationship? If there's one thing you want them to know before we get knee deep into the season, because we're still at the beginning.
I just want fans to know that our relationship is a real relationship. If you put a camera in everyone's relationship, they're gonna see moments when they disagree, when they argue, when they're in love. It's a real relationship. You know, I'm not putting on a facade because, oh, I'm wearing a hijab. I'm showing you that, yes, I'm a Muslim woman, he's a Muslim man, but we are real. You know, we have problems like everyone else. So I want fans to know that it's real. A lot of people thinking this test is fake. And I know about the house. It's the holy month of Ramadan. I'm telling you, I had no idea about this house. It was my first reaction. It's how it played off on television. So I just want fans to know that this is a real relationship that they're getting to see on camera.